All right. Hello, Raul.
Hey Giovanni. So for your audience, my name is Raul Verdusco from Verdusco Automation, also a co-host of The Next Move. So yeah, no, go ahead, Giovanni.
Yes, and I'm glad you took some time out of your day to have this little chat with me. How's your Saturday going?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's actually a nice day here in Michigan, and got a little workout in. So oh,
Okay. Yeah, and before I start with the questions that I had asked you, I just want to let you know a little bit of the background of kind of what I'm doing right now with these interviews. So I'm currently working on a mission to help other people better understand and navigate the world of technology. Through conversations like this, I aim to break down complex tech topics and engineering topics as well, kind of going into STEM now, with you being on, and share insights that can inspire and inform a wider audience. So I'm looking forward to learning from your experiences and share your story with others. Also, if you can just let people know what you do and where you work, and kind of just bring us into your world a little bit.
yeah. So you know, started my own company, Verdusco Automation, about 2021. I done, engineering, I guess you say more controls, automation for the past, I don't know, since basically 2008. Started off working doing a Delphi chassis in Saginaw, Michigan, which now I think the plant actually closed down, but to start doing facilities work. I was kind of responsible for the the breakers. So, for example, they had about five separate plants, and each one of them had had substations on the roof. I don't know if you're familiar with that type of manufacturing with substations, but the issue was that all their breakers were about 30 years old and they need to be refurbished because if you don't refurbish them, usually you try to, I think you're supposed to do it like every year or every couple of years, but they never refurbish it in 30. And the problem is if you're, for example, this thing's feeding a bus bar and you want that power to be shut off on that bus bar, and you press the trip button, it doesn't work. Well, that's what happens if you don't keep something up to bar, up to date, whatnot. So so that was kind of my responsibilities because I was a co-op at the time to, coordinate with the company to make sure that the equipment got shipped on time and everything, and also coordinate with electricians to, you know, um, make sure the equipment got pushed out when it should, as in um, schedule a time where we swap out 10 breakers with the old ones that are running, put the new ones in, or I should say the refurbished ones, and then those ones that were in there probably for X amount of years, those get sent out to get refurbished, bring them back, do that coordination. So
Seems like you had a handful of kind of responsibilities right there.
yeah, but to be honest with you, that was kind of minimum.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah, because
wow.
yeah, because I done work in dynamometer industry with engine testing and transmission testing. Those areas can be a little more complex just because what makes it really complex is you have to be able to, when you're troubleshooting, you have to be able to figure out if this is a mechanical issue, if this is an electrical issue, is this a PC issue, is this a PLC issue, um, is there something with that somebody else is coming in and, not necessarily doing something maliciously, but just, they're doing a typical maintenance task and like, hey, they don't need to do this task anymore on these type of dynamometers versus another ones. So, you know, I've been in that area, been in assembly lines, been in machining lines, um, been worked on assembly lines. Slow tack time is 1 hour because, for example, like an earth mover, and those things can weigh up to 40,000 pounds, so you want to make sure you don't drop it.
Wow,
per
40,000
se,
pounds.
and worked on assembly lines where, you push out a product every 3 to 5 seconds. So, um, I kind of been through in and out of a lot of different stuff, a lot of different equipment. So, but yeah, getting alluding to Verdusco Automation, we started doing project and production support in the manufacturing industry. For example, one of our clients had a robot cell takt time of 58 seconds, needed down to 55. We sent one of our engineers out there, helped them get it down to 45 seconds for them, which in essence, kind of increased their obviously cycle time, obviously able to, you know, I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but that extra 3 seconds, they actually had to work 9 hours to meet an 8 hour shift requirement. So now with them being able to obviously exceed that, that obviously frees them up on other things to be able to, I guess you say, attack if there's other process improvements you want to make on the line.
So that's a kind of perfect way to jump into the first question because my first question to you then would be, what exactly is automation in simple terms that maybe, somebody like myself and others that are not in your line of work, can you kind of break it down for us?
Yeah, how should I put this? I do this on our podcast, The Next Move. Um, when we talk about questions, certain questions, we try to pull in some videos to kind of help engage the
Okay.
I guess you say, some of the information. So if you don't mind, I'd like to share this video I found that kind of portrays that. So hope you don't mind.
Yeah, okay.
Welcome to Summary Wise. In today's video, we're diving into automation, what it is, and why it matters. Automation involves using technology to perform tasks with minimal human intervention. For instance, automatic email responses or robotic process automation in businesses. Popular tools include Zapier for workflow automation and UiPath for robotic process automation. That's a quick overview of automation. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more insights and tips.
So that's one of them. Another thing I found here was this right here, types of automation. You can have various different types. So fixed, program automation, flexible automation, software automation, robot process automation, obviously AI automation. So it's really your, I guess you say, flavor of the month, what you're trying to accomplish. So there's very different types. The process I'm more probably most familiar with is the manufacturing environment, and that's with like robotics, PLCs, HMIs, etc., and dealing with more on the I guess you say majority automotive. But yeah, any follow-up questions on that, Giovanni?
Well, I mean, what stands out to me, and I seen it in your podcast where you showed that video of that robot just going haywire. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I mean, it was maybe your latest podcast where that robot went haywire, and is that kind of something like you said, you kind of program and
well, you know, when we brought that up, Keegan, Sandeep, and I, we were looking at it, and we in the past, not necessarily that situation, but in the past, we've seen robots where they'll make a unexpected move, and this is what a lot of people don't know or understand is that there's what we call startup, and you're testing things out, you're seeing what's going on. And that situation was that. It was kind of a testing, revamping or polishing up on the program. And, for some reason he put something in there that caused the robot to act the way it did. And so those are what we call development situations. We're not going to release that to the public. It's kind of like when we're programming an automation line, and I've been on both sides of the fence, as in validating the equipment and also programming the equipment. And the goal, obviously, the ultimate goal is to flush out the bugs. And that's to ensure, like someone like yourself, I'm not saying you don't know anything about automation, but let's say you walk up to an assembly line and you're like, pressing buttons and whatnot. We don't want it to malfunction where it hits the wall or hits something else, and it's designed to be safe. If it's going to fail, it's going to fail safe. That's your ultimate goal when you program. And that type of situation that you're alluding to with the robot going, yeah, that was the at least that's our point of view was is that hey, this is kind of the development phase. Now, if it was out in the field and it did it, okay, that's a different story. That's a different conversation. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys.
It's something that it looks like it's very sensitive that it just takes somebody like yourself to kind of, hey, let's isolate it before we put it to production.
Yeah, yeah. And you want to take notes of situations like that. Okay, it's in essence, let's make sure we don't do that again. And yeah, no, it's sorry, yeah, and I guess this is my way of saying in simple terms, this is what kind of automation is you're trying to make going back to it, you're trying to make tasks simple for people. And kind of my couple of my, I guess you say, pet peeves is obviously one is making it safe. The second thing is to make sure it's intuitive enough to for you to be able to recover. That's why, in my opinion, print packages are very essential, as in being able to easily read it, and then also at the same time be able to easily recover from a fault situation. Because at least in the automotive environment, time is money. So you don't want a station or a line to be down for long periods of time.
Yeah, because I could imagine that there's going to be some angry higher ups for sure.
Yeah, there's always how should I put this? There's always angry higher ups, no matter what you do.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. What a perfect segue into my next question, because I'm pretty sure now people are kind of curious now. Can you give me some real world examples of automation I might encounter in my daily life or at work?
Yeah. Again, like I said, I like showing these videos. Um, that's something that we've been implementing into our podcast. I hope you don't mind. I got another video I'd like to share. Now, this
Awesome.
video is about 10 minutes long,
Okay.
but the first minute to minute 30 is what I feel would be in essence relate to your audience, relate to your question.
Okay.
For us sounds like a sci-fi movie, right? But isn't that what's happening now? Welcome to the era of robotics and automation, where the lines between fiction and reality blur. Let's break it down. Robotics, at its core, is about designing, creating, and operating robots. These are programmable machines that interact with the physical world, often designed to mimic human actions or even surpass human capabilities. On the other hand, automation is about leveraging technology to perform tasks with minimal human intervention. It's about increasing efficiency, reducing errors, and freeing humans from repetitive, mundane tasks. From self-driving cars to automated assembly lines, from robotic surgeons to smart home systems, robotics and automation are revolutionizing our world. This isn't just about replacing human labor. It's about augmenting human capabilities and creating opportunities for innovation and growth. So, in essence, robotics and automation are about creating systems that can operate independently. But how did we get here?
So I don't know if that, I guess you say, helps with the question, but that's kind of where, that's one where I guess you say one real example, how it helps, businesses, how it helps people, and repetitive task is kind of the one thing. And I don't know if people realize this, but there's automation in our daily lives, probably more than what you would consider. So here's an example, like kitchen tools, like a potato peeler, this is automated. You know, electronics. Like back in the day, you used to wash your clothes by hand. Now you have a washer. Like this is, I don't think anybody washes their clothes by hand anymore.
No, I sure don't.
Yeah. Yeah, so something like this, like having a automatic guard gate when a car's approaching, power backups, arms, medical devices like this. This used to be performed by a human. Now, you have something that can help you so you can work on something else. And then even architecture, obviously something like this with farming, this used to be done by hand. So, and even sports, help you out with hitting the ball for the tennis ball and escalators. So,
Wow, that's yeah, I mean, thank you for showing that because that really puts into perspective that hey, that's the kind of the stuff that we probably don't even notice until probably right now. Do you
yeah.
see? I know you're from Michigan, but do you see? And I saw a car here in West Local, Texas, that said maybe robotics or automation. Do you see that there probably is a need for more kind of automation plants here in the Rio Grande Valley?
Um, when you say that, you mean is the state of Texas becoming more automated?
Yeah, sure.
I would say yes, and the only reason I'm saying that is because I'm pretty sure you guys noticed this a couple years ago with a lot of companies from Silicon Valley moving to Texas, to Dallas, I believe. A lot of major companies did that. And so obviously you get a lot of that the newer technology coming into play, especially with Eli Musk with his companies are moving to Texas as well. And so you guys are, have that advantage of having the, technology being moved there. Because I believe usually a lot of the more advanced technologies were built in California and now is essentially got moved to Texas. So that's one thing I kind of noticing a pattern is I believe with the states with get more tax breaks are getting more manufacturing.
And so what kind of tasks or jobs are most likely to be automated in your opinion?
Mm, great question. I like I said, I found a video that help with this question. So,
Okay.
and I see this happening more and it's more deals with the AI side of it. So let me share this video with you.
Okay.
Uh,
Handles several invoices and other financial records like monetary transactions, liabilities, checks, and ledgers on a daily basis. One of his tasks is to copy all the relevant information from these invoices, such as the name of the company, invoice ID, and date of processing into a spreadsheet, and mail the sheet along with other financial reports to his superiors by the end of the day. As any prompt employee, he transfers all the information to the sheet, attaches the reports, and sends them over to his boss via email every day. But over a period, he starts finding this task to be time-consuming and repetitive. Frustrated, Jim looks for a way to reduce the time and effort it takes to complete the task. And voila! He stumbles across robotic process automation, aka RPA. Using robotic process automation, he builds a simple bot that extracts information from several invoices into an Excel sheet, attaches all the necessary financial reports, and sends them over to his superiors via email at a specific time every day. So, what exactly is robotic process automation? Robotic process automation, RPA, is the use of software with artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities to handle high-volume repetitive tasks that previously required humans to perform. Some of these tasks include addressing queries, making calculations, maintenance of records, and performing transactions. There are several misconceptions about RPA. RPA is not a humanoid robot. It does not have a physical form and no resemblance to humans. RPA cannot replace humans or replicate human cognitive functions. It does not have a brain of its own. and cannot perform logical or critical.
Oh, I think you kind of get an idea. These are, obviously tasks that can be, you know, um, most likely to be automated. And, with the advancements of AI, you know, other tasks that you can't really and when I say that, outside of typical manufacturing, those tasks are looking to be more automated. Not necessarily 100%, but it's moving in that direction.
And is there maybe a time frame that you see? Is there maybe like 5 years where we're starting to see maybe it being kind of, I don't know, people are maybe out of jobs now.
Well, that's something we spoke on the podcast one time with, Keegan, Sandy, and myself. We were debating that issue. And the one thing that we brought up is during the podcast is that, hey, these yeah, some of these jobs may be automated, but that frees that person up to do other tasks. And so and the automation that people are attacking is repetitive tasks like that. Like, putting the grab an invoice, putting it in here, is simple stuff. And we can have AI take care of that and then that person can handle the heavy load of it. The part that why they went to school for, or the reason they went to school for. And so there's other things, excuse me, that are going to get automated, like driving. A lot of companies are pushing for these self-driving cars. Data collection, obviously that's one. Some of these software services are coming into play, business writing, counting, etc. I guess, what about yourself? Are you seeing a trend?
So my worldview, still I'm here in the, I mean, as you may know, we're kind of behind here in the Rio Grande Valley. You're based on, or you have family in Mission, Texas, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
I got my brother
here
there.
I think we might be tack on 5 more years before maybe we adopt uh automation. I don't know if you noticed that as well here in the Rio Grande Valley. We're kind of like behind in many things.
Um, I want to say yes and no.
Okay.
I mean, there are things there that I was like, oh, this is pretty nice. And obviously you probably see things differently. I when I say this, for example, I've been to China, Japan, and South Korea, and to me, we're behind as a country comparison to them
Wow.
on
That's true.
technology.
Yeah. Mhm.
And we did share a couple of videos. When I say that, meaning on the next move of like cars, for example, the technology that on the cars they have in China are way more advanced than what we have right now. And um, so that's something that, we as a country need to catch up on. And I think, this, at least this administration is looking to, for us to make that leap in the advancements. And so we're heading that direction. At least I believe so. I know with, like, for example, when DeepSeek came out, I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Which is, I heard that they were training it based off of ChatGPT.
Yeah, yeah, they were. So the one thing when DeepSeek first came out, obviously, it's the China version of ChatGPT. And when that came out, everybody was just like, "Wow, this is so advanced." So I tested it on a couple of things, and I was surprised how well it worked. Now, when we talked about it on the podcast, the big problem is the data collection side of it. Um, but the catch is that I was like the technology side of it. If we take away the argument of the data collection side, but the technology side of it, it's it was better it was better than ChatGPT at that time. And I noticed ChatGPT about a month to 2 months later, it caught up. to DeepSeek. So so yeah, it's interesting to be honest with you. It's very, very interesting. The technology race is key right now.
And would you, that's why I'm glad that I have somebody like yourself to be to interviewing, right? I was kind of more focused on technology, but having spoken to with you, maybe I should get more engineers on this kind of interview series because maybe this will spark somebody's kind of like, you know what, let me go into engineering. Would you say we need maybe everybody in STEM, more people?
Well,
And
it's funny. So when I was young, or when I was in high school, there wasn't a STEM program. That's something that came out after. And only reason, one of the reasons I learned about it was I do volunteer work for First Robotics as a judge. So I'm learning more and more on what, STEM is, what it's about, and it's a great program. The way they do things and the way they teach these kids, man, I wish I had that when I was young. Let me tell you. And I don't know if you had an opportunity to see any of the kids in First Robotics and some of the technology that they created. They're doing so well and they're advancing so much. The one thing I kind of fear is the AI side of it. Um, so on our podcast, the very first episode, I gave an example of I guess you say the good and the bad of, let's say, for example, ChatGPT. And it's not really attacking ChatGPT, it's just more on the AI side of it. And the gentleman that was showing the video, what he did was he grabbed a PLC, he tells ChatGPT, I have this type of PLC at this many I/O blocks. Write me a program that would make a light flash when I trip a light curtain.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Raul, PLC stands for
Programmable program logic, program logic controls.
okay.
So PLCs is what um, I should put this, what typical manufacturers use because it's the speed. It keeps up with the line because you want everything to react like this. And so one of the more popular PLCs in the United States is Allen Bradley, Rockwell. Obviously, next is Siemens, or there's a couple other ones like Omron or Mitsubishi, etc. And there's all kinds of different type of PLCs out there, and but they all pretty much function the same in my opinion. I know not everybody may agree with me, but the point I was alluding to wasn't the type of PLC. The point I was alluding to is that with the ChatGPT, you can tell it what type of PLC it was and tell it what type of program that you wanted to do, and it spit it out. The guy copied it, put it into the PLC, ran it, and it worked. And then he says, "Okay, now I wanted to, I tripped the light curtain. I wanted to flash red instead of being solid red." So it spits out the code. He plugs it in, goes. And he kept doing that, just changing the scenarios for the different stack lights. And the catch is, one of the things that, when we're all talking about this is that going to be programming moving forward? Meaning you just tell a robot or whatever to program, and then you plop it in and go. And the problem is, to me, is that you don't really learn to use what's up here. Learn how to, you see a situation, you look at it, how do I need to program this? How do I need it, take an account for this and that and the other? When I say this and that and other, meaning, let's say a robot's in a certain position and okay, I only wanted to go to the next position or the next prompt position if this and this and this conditions are met. And that's what you do. That's how you program it. And then it may come from another direction and it wants it to go this way. And you want to create conditions. I only move if this and this and this are met. Go. So, and I don't know if relying on ChatGPT or programs like that to create the code is only going to get you 80% there, but you need somebody who can complete that 20%. So it's a tool, but I'm afraid people are going to start relying on it more and more instead of having the generation of being able to use what's up here to get it done.
Yes. And you know what? I wanna segue into not too much fear now, because I know that there's benefits for sure. So let me segue into my next positive question. What are the main benefits of automation for individuals or for society as a whole?
Um, you know, I'm glad you forwarded some of the stuff, so I got ahead of it. So I got another video that kind of talks about this, the benefits of this.
Okay.
So let me share that with you.
Okay.
Artificial intelligence is a pretty cool technology that a lot of us are still learning about, but AI can actually change the world too. And that's what I want to talk about here today. My name is Eric Kimberling. I'm the CEO of Third Stage Consulting. We're an independent consulting firm that helps clients throughout the world reach the third stage of success of their digital transformation journeys. And artificial intelligence is something that's been emerging for a while now, but it's just now catching on. And a lot of organizations are looking hard at how they can use AI to make their organizations better. But as someone that grew up in the 80s and grew up with movies like Terminator and war games and things of that nature, there's been a sort of underlying fear of new technology that a lot of us have, including artificial intelligence. For example, in Terminator, AI and robots aren't necessarily a good thing. They can be perceived as a bad thing. So what I want to do today is sort of shift gears from that mentality. So rather than talk about the perceived negativity of AI or the potential negativity of AI, I want to talk today about how AI just might be able to save the world. So for many, we might perceive artificial intelligence as something that's going to jeopardize or threaten our jobs. In other words, if we can automate our jobs or do things that humans typically would have done in the past in terms of the way they think and learn and that sort of thing, that could be perceived as a negative thing or something that could jeopardize someone's job. But another way to look at this is to say, rather than creating job loss, it could actually create job opportunity. What I mean by this is if we can automate manual parts of our jobs or things that don't require a lot of human thought or interaction, then what if we could spend more of our time doing more strategic activities and more thinking and planning and decision making? So if you think about your organization that you work with or for, there's probably a lot of manual work that gets done with spreadsheets and collecting data. And out on the shop floor, there's a lot of manual processes still happening. But what if AI could take some of that away and make us as humans more strategic and more decision making? Could that lead to better fulfillment and better job satisfaction? Those are some things to think about as you think about how AI might be able to improve the employee experience within organizations throughout the world.
So, and he brings up some good points. And one of the reasons I like this video is that I should say I was born in the 80s. So I wasn't, we didn't have smartphones. We had a pager.
Okay.
And so and then if you ever watch these like TikTok videos of some of the parents like grabbing an old rotary phone, like here, gives it to their kid or their grandkid, like here, figure this out. They're like,
Like,
where's the call waiting?
I don't think they could work with it.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, and these are some of the benefits of a society as a whole. It'll free a person up for other tasks. And so that's kind of my opinion, the benefits of using automation is that you can spread that work out. Even as a business owner, a small business owner like myself, like if I could automate a task and free that person up to instead of having them do repetitive tasks, having them do the more critical thinking type work, that's where I want them. I don't want them doing repetitive tasks. If I can have it automated. And so that really kind of helps out, especially with small businesses. And I kind of wonder how small businesses, got off the ground from, years ago without these tools. So, this is one of the good things about the AI side of it is that it helps a business be able to not bog a person down by doing repetitive work. You can have the software do that for you, and obviously saves you a bunch of time and effort. Uh, I guess does that help with this your question?
Yeah, and it's something that it's always great when we don't have to do kind of repetitive tasks and we can focus on some more of the important things. So, it's not all bad. I'm glad we went there, right? In automation's
Yeah,
not all that bad. We have um
and
how
that's
about
kind of
SpaceX? Is that something you're looking at closely here in the Rio Grande Valley? That you
I
see? I
uh,
mean, I'm curious on your thoughts on that. That's
SpaceX. I'll be honest with you, I haven't just because we really haven't had any requests to go
okay.
out to SpaceX. But I guess in your opinion, how has it benefited the valley with SpaceX being down there?
There's some quarrels about it because they're going to be able to close the beach whenever they want, really. So I've seen some angry comments on Facebook that they're going to be able to close beaches whenever they want, and we want to enjoy the beach.
Oh, well, why are they closing the beach out of curiosity?
I think just because of all the stuff that falls back down to earth, or nobody, because it also produces, I believe, sound waves from the blast.
Oh, yeah, the decibels. Yeah, I can see that being, well, that's kind of interesting because, well, when I say that, so for example, um, I know some companies when they purchase equipment, they have a certain standard. Usually this needs to be under 100 decibels, meaning the amount of noise that it creates. And so otherwise they have to have that person have ear protection. Excuse me, because over time it damages your ear. So that's kind of interesting. The reason I say it's interesting is because okay, I can understand the people on the beach, but what about the people that live on the beach? You know what I mean?
And I think that's another uproar that people are having, that they're going to be able to take their property away from them. Or haven't read into it too much, or I've seen a little bit of it, and that's kind of another thing that they're kind of gonna be slowly but surely kind of pushing everybody that was there already, pushing them out, or kind of
Oh, really?
buying them out.
Huh. That's really interesting. It's really interesting. Hmm.
Yeah, and I don't want to take too much of your time, and I'm ready to wrap things up so I can let you have the rest of your day. But where can people find you on social media? Can you tell us a little bit more about your business, or if they want to reach out to you on any of the social media platforms regarding Verdusco Automation?
Yeah, the easiest way is obviously go to verduscoautomation.com, our website. The next best way is on LinkedIn. Um, that's you can find out a lot more information about us on there. But the website, it's very, like you should say, easy, intuitive. Right when as soon as you get to our website, you can schedule an appointment with us, or you can go to our contact page, fill out a form, we'll contact you that way, or you can call our 810 number and talk with us that way and get an appointment with us. And for companies that are, and I'll give you an example of Giovanni. This one kind of kills me. So I've in the past couple months, and I know this exists. There's companies out there that purchase lines. and let's say they spend, 1.5 million to 2.5 million on it. Or and I'm just making up these numbers, but they spend money, right?
Okay.
And the company or the tier one supplier or the supplier that provided the equipment, comes in, dumps the equipment, and then leaves. And these unfortunately the business owners are like, hey, help me out here so I can get this thing working so I can get my return on investment. And they're like, sorry, dude. They literally say basically, sorry, we got this much bigger client that we're supporting, and we need to put all of our efforts there. We're not going to worry about your project. And so, to me, those are the type of people we want to work with, as in, hey, dude, we're there, we're able to help you. Obviously, we can help the bigger companies, but I hate seeing somebody, spend that kind of money and not get anywhere out of it or not get any type of return on investment. So, you know, those are the people who, love to help. Just, hey, you know what? We'll take care of it for you. We'll come in, get you going, get your ROI, and, obviously get your tack time down so you can start making money again.
Wow. And yeah, I'm glad that you're putting out that word out there. And well, we would love to see you here back in the Rio Grande Valley, maybe as somebody when you have business over here. So I'm glad that you're putting out
Yeah,
the word.
yeah, not a problem. I actually like the valley. It is very hot there. I was there about 2 weeks ago for my nephew's graduation. So congratulations, Tony, for graduating college. Um, but man, it was hot.
Oh
I
yeah.
I forgot how hot it is there.
Yes, it is very hot. Don't bring a jacket.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't. Well, actually, I did bring a jacket because I was in New Jersey at the time.
Oh, okay, okay. And
But
your YouTube where can they find your podcast as well?
uh, so we're on YouTube. The podcast called The Next Move. We literally talk about AI. Um, excuse me. So AI and businesses and different technologies that's coming up. I mean, honestly, we're seeing technology that's just kind of crazy. And by the way, Giovanni, once your podcast becomes very successful, I would love the Kawasaki Lion gift. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
Okay, I have not seen it yet.
Yeah, so Kawasaki, that motorcycle company, created a lion-esque motorcycle that literally has four legs and can do.
I think I've seen it, but on Facebook, I believe. I think I've seen
Okay,
something. Is that something that's real? I'm not.
yeah, it's real.
Oh, wow.
They're in development of it. So if that'd be a great Christmas gift for me whenever you get a chance.
Yes, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Yes, whenever I have a chance to get it to that, do you just make sure to maybe see it first, isolate it, see if there's any bugs before you got on top of it or something?
I'll be, that'd be one I wouldn't mind testing it out for them.
Yes.
Just because I
Uh,
enjoy those type of vehicles, or yeah, that'll be actually I don't think anybody's ever created something like that, to be honest with you, for a person to ride. So
okay.
yeah, we'll get you a Gucci saddle, Giovanni, when you ride it.
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to come chat with me, Raul. I appreciate it so much. So I won't take you
I
much of your
appreciate
time.
I appreciate you, bud, and thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Okay, until next time then, Raul.
Yep, thank you, thank you.